Germany's special forces are considered the most dangerous in the world, while the US special forces are considered the most powerful. But when you look at the guys from South Korea, it sends chills down your spine. Today, we'll show you 11 countries with the deadliest military special units. Hurry up and subscribe, and let's get started. France. France is considered one of the few countries with a nearly complete range of domestically produced modern weapons and technology, from small arms to powerful nuclear aircraft carriers. Just look at the Leclerc tanks, which demonstrate their power in NATO military exercises and firing drills. And this is the latest 25-ton combat and reconnaissance vehicle Jaguar, equipped with the most advanced software, onboard electronics, sensors, and medium-range missile firepower. The elite unit of the French National Gendarmerie, GIGN, is capable of defeating the most dangerous armed criminals, such as liberating a hijacked plane with hostages, suppressing a prison riot, or neutralizing terrorists. Take a moment to appreciate their level of accuracy. This soldier did too. This is how the infantry of the French Foreign Legion undergoes training. These intense drills are definitely not for the faint-hearted. The elite special forces of the 1st Parachute Infantry Marine Regiment, RPIMA, in action. Their courage, discipline, and form are impressive. However, with slightly less training, how would they fare in complex tasks such as special military operations, water crossings, or guarding particularly important persons? Even a 6-year-old Malinois named Leota serves this special unit. Together with his owner, he has parachuted into combat zones several times. If their dogs are this tough, I can only imagine what their humans are capable of. The French Raid Special Forces is an elite unit of the National Police, which, translated from French, stands for Search, Assistance, Dissuasion. The French send raid to highly complex and risky missions. Like this OP, for example, when they managed to free several dozen hostages. Take a look at the urban combat exercises conducted by French soldiers during the largest military drills in France's history, known as Orion. These exercises involved nearly 20,000 soldiers and several thousand pieces of equipment, including combat aircraft, drones, warships, and even the aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle. And this is how the paratroopers of the 11th Parachute Brigade celebrate the day of their patron saint, Saint Michael. Germany. Note, these are not scenes from a new action movie as you might have thought, but a training exercise of the German Special Forces Unit KSK for hostage rescue. According to the scenario, in a fictional country outside of Germany, 6 terrorists took a hostage. The KSK's mission is to free him and safely bring him back to Germany. Just look at how professionally they do it. It is not surprising that German special forces are considered the most dangerous in the world. They can perform their job in the most dangerous conditions, whether it's the urban environment, in the air, or even underwater. These guys can exit the helicopter while it's up in the air. German armed forces known as Bundeswehr have 183 soldiers in active service. Their point of pride is not only the well-prepared personnel, but also the modern technology. The powerful German aviation is worth the hype. The Bundeswehr currently have 226 combat aircraft in its arsenal. If anyone still doubts the power of the German Special Forces, here are scenes from a very realistic hostage rescue training. This is the training of Special Police Unit of Germany GSG-9. And these are the daily exercises of the German military. Whether you want it or not, you'll turn into a cyborg here. China. China ranks third in the world in terms of military power. And it's not just because of the new aircraft carriers, top-notch fighters, submarines, or super-fast armored vehicles, but also about the might of the Chinese military. By the way, the Chinese army is considered one of the largest and comprises over 2 million personnel. The training of the Chinese Special Forces is shrouded in secrecy, but some things can still be observed. For example, an ultra-extreme training known as Devil's Week lasted a whopping 10 days. These guys go through mountains and rivers, fire and jungles, all while carrying over 85 pounds of weight and covering no less than 6 miles a day. And here we have the Chinese airborne troops practicing combat landings with live fire. Look at how much equipment is involved here. The Special Operations Forces of the Chinese Army also need to keep themselves in shape, so they conduct exercises to train strength, accuracy, and quick reaction time. Endurance and synchronization are clearly their strong points. The U.S. The U.S. Army is considered the strongest army in the world, largely thanks to its highly trained special forces. Take a look at the SWAT special forces storming a bus with terrorists right in front of the crowd. Of course, it's a demonstration, but who cares when they are this impressive in action? And this is the U.S. Army's first-tier Special Operations Unit Delta Force. Their missions include combating terrorism, handling insurgencies, and executing classified missions. To get in, you have to be a soldier or ranger with combat experience and pass a rigorous selection process that lasts for a whole month and consists of long and grueling exercises. Right now, you are witnessing combat footage from a real mission of the U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6, who breached an Al-Qaeda base and neutralized the enemies. SEAL Team 6 has many successful operations to their credit, but the most famous of them was the elimination of Osama bin Laden. This is roughly what the hellish training of the Rangers, a special reconnaissance unit of the U.S. Army, looks like. Excellent physical training helps these soldiers on the front lines of combat, as seen in these shots during maritime operations in Virginia Beach in 2021. While the Rangers specialize in direct action military operations, then the Green Berets are specialized units that excel in unconventional warfare and enhance the combat capabilities of forces worldwide. Take a look at how skillfully they perform an exercise in the Advanced Tactics, Leadership, and Skills course in Virginia known as Capstone. And this infantryman captured a GoPro footage of maneuvering through an alley, engaging the target first with blank rounds and then with live ammunition. Here's what future Green Berets go through during the selection program. Look at what the Marine Reconnaissance Battalion soldiers are up to. But that's not all. They also have top-notch snipers. Since the main mission of the Marine Corps is reconnaissance and amphibious assault, they must, of course, be prepared to work underwater. In order to become combat divers, Marine recon troops undergo this mandatory course. This is how they practice their skills on dry land. And when it comes to their physical conditioning, their training is no walk in the park. And here's another reason why the Navy SEALs are so resilient. By the way, to secure a contract, future Navy SEALs undergo a physical screening test known as the RST. It includes a 500-yard swim, push-ups, arm flexion, pull-ups, and a 1.5-mile run. Have you ever seen a vertical aircraft landing? The F-35B Lightning II is capable of conducting precise strikes on land, supporting Marines deployed on shore, or providing air defense for an expeditionary strike group. And here's another aircraft, the C-17, from which the guys in airborne divisions perform static jumps. Take a look at how epic the pararescue operators from the U.S. Air Force Special Operations Command look during their airdrop. South Korea. Watching the knife combat training on board the ship, I'm already impressed by the South Korean Special Forces. On a serious note, this is a unit of the South Korean Navy that fights against Somali pirates. And this is how they conduct their training on the eve of a 6-month deployment in the Gulf of Aden. If I were a pirate, I'd definitely think twice. The South Korean Navy SEALs are learning from the U.S. Both countries come together to conduct joint exercises utilizing American helicopters and submarines. The South Korean Special Warfare Flotilla showcases its power at the world's largest naval exercise, Impact, that 25 different countries participate in. But here's how South Korea would defend its shores in case of a real invasion. The sheer amount of equipment is impressive. It includes artillery, helicopters, cannons, rockets, and tanks. The Flying Tigers is an elite tactical unit of the armed forces. Every Tiger has undergone rigorous selection and equally intense training. Just think about it. Their military gear weighs between 40 to 48 pounds. And now you're seeing how the Special Forces are preparing for their deployment and transfer to the United Arab Emirates. These are counter-terrorism exercises in preparation for the World Swimming Championship. According to the scenario, terrorists opened fire on a vehicle carrying athletes with a plan to abduct them. However, the Korean police forces saved both the players and the governor, who was allegedly already captured and held on the bus. The Elite Special Forces unit of South Korea put on a real show in honor of the 72nd Armed Forces Day, showcasing their military skills. What do you think of this, for instance? This is the Musat Special Forces employing highly effective close combat techniques and tactics. But to reach this level, one cannot do without hellish training in extreme conditions. Turkey. Meet the Special Forces of the Turkish Navy, which consists of 2 units, SAS and SAT. The distinction between them is that SAS handles defense, while SAT specializes in assault. The only known operation of SAS is the recon and seizure of the coast during the Turkish invasion of Cyprus in 1974. As for SAT, the list of operations they've been involved in is longer. For instance, these soldiers participated in operations against Kurdish insurgents, carried out a series of diversions in northern Iraq, evacuated Turkish citizens from Kosovo and Albania, and fought against drug traffickers in the Anatolia region. And here's the Turkish Special Forces in all their glory during joint military exercises with Pakistan and Uzbekistan. It's pretty impressive. Even more impressive than parachute jumps are night skydiving drills performed by the Turkish Special Forces. And here we have the Mountain Special Forces, known as Blue Berets, the elite soldiers of the Turkish Armed Forces. Their training is considered some of the most challenging in the world. They are trained in map reading, casualty evacuation, advancing under heavy artillery fire, and rappelling down cliffs. The mission of the Blue Berets is conducting sabotage and assault operations behind enemy lines and eliminating terrorists. The worst nightmare for terrorists is the commandos, which rightfully holds a crucial place in the Turkish army. They are trained in some of the most challenging courses in the world. For instance, take a look at the training on the 76-meter multifunctional tower. These exercises are a mandatory part of the training course, not only for Turkish soldiers, but also for warriors from all over the world. And this is not a training exercise, but actual combat action during one of the counter-terrorism operations in Syria.
Temiz!
Turkey's pride lies not only in its highly trained special forces, but also in its modern military technology. For instance, the versatile armored combat vehicle of Turkish production, PARS, is capable of withstanding 14.5mm armor-piercing bullets. Its robust construction ensures the crew's survivability even in the event of a 13-pound TNT-equivalent mine blast under the hull and 17 pounds under the wheels. Ukraine. The strength and bravery of the Ukrainian army have been tested not only through exercises, but also in the war with Russia. The whole world is amazed by their heroism and resilience, not to mention their military prowess on the battlefield. And if anyone has doubts about their success, just look at how the anti-terrorism unit of the National Guard of Ukraine, known as Omega, conducts a special operation in East Ukraine. Here, Ukrainian military engineers are preparing to advance using the floating tracked transporter PTS-2. It's designed for amphibious crossing of artillery systems, wheeled and tracked artillery tractors, armored personnel carriers, vehicles, personnel, and various cargo. This machine is so maneuverable and invulnerable that it can even move via the sea. This is a test of two Ukrainian-made armored vehicles. The Varta armored vehicle is equipped with enhanced anti-mine protection on the chassis, and its lower part is V-shaped to increase anti-mine resistance, providing crew protection from explosions under the vehicle. The second vehicle, the Novator, is equipped with an automatic fire extinguishing system, air conditioner, heater, and can carry 5 people and 4,000 pounds of cargo. Its turning radius is 26 feet. Ukrainian civilians can certainly sleep at night knowing that such agile guys serve in the special forces of the National Guard. Look at how smoothly they executed the hostage rescue. I believe if it were a real threat, it would have looked even more impressive. Norway. If you ever come across stoic men capable of carrying out their duties in very adverse weather conditions, chances are they are Norwegian military personnel. For instance, they are currently on a NATO mission guarding the airbase in Iceland alongside police aircraft F-35A. Norway is generally a peaceful country that hasn't engaged in armed conflict since World War II. However, in 1982, a threat of terrorist activity emerged against Norwegian interests, including oil platforms in the North Sea. This led to the formation of the Special Operations Unit Forsvarets Special Commando. At first, FSK consisted of a personnel and a training unit of paratroopers, as well as a mobilization force, which over time evolved into experienced professionals known for their reliability, competence, and operational capability. Norway's maritime special forces are known as the Naval Special Operations Commando. They undertake missions that demand meticulous planning, swift response, high precision, covert execution, audacity, courage, and the ability to work independently. The UK. What do we know about the UK? Well, for one, its army regularly participates in combat operations, which means they have an incredible amount of experience. And what do we know about British intelligence agencies? At the very least, we know that they employ some very skilled individuals. The United Kingdom Special Forces, UKSF, are under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Defense and comprise more than 20 units, all of which undergo rigorous training. For instance, this is how infantry officers are trained. These courses are specifically conducted in the rugged countryside of Wales, known for its harsh terrain and some of the worst weather conditions in the UK. If a soldier can endure this trial, it shows that they possess the qualities necessary to lead troops. The Welsh cavalry had their share of challenges when they went to the USA. The area where they conducted their training was teeming with venomous snakes and alligators. If this didn't scare them, I think there's nothing left that will. Just look at the grueling training of the parachute regiment. The soldiers here don't hold back, but the results are worth it.
Stop now! First time I'm getting licked right now! Smith! Get up there, leave your men! Think you got that guy now! And you want to kill that move! Get under!
Here's what they put Army reservists through during commando training. Ideally, this course should be completed in less than 5 minutes, with each soldier carrying over 30 pounds of gear. It's the toughest obstacle course I've ever seen. The Royal Marine Commandos are no exception. They work with some of the strongest physical training instructors who don't let them relax for a second. Chopper assaults, covert landings, and rapid raids using British Chinook helicopters. The joint exercises of Britain, the US, and Finland look impressive. The soldiers of the Black Horse unit of the Royal Dragoon Guards, stationed in Poland, conducting a week-long training focused on urban combat, which is considered one of the most challenging scenarios. The British are eager to share their combat experience with other countries. Here, you can see them teaching Ukrainian military personnel techniques necessary for defense against Russian aggression. Australia. Australia is dangerous not only because of its flora, fauna, and climate, but also because of its formidable army. You can see how powerful they are by watching the tactical training and live fire exercises at the Shoalwater Bay Training Ground during X-Diamond Run, a major exercise evaluating the basic combat skills of the 7th Army Brigade. The Australian Defence Force consists of the defence organisations, the Royal Australian Navy, the Australian Army, the Royal Australian Air Force, as well as tri-service units. Since 2017, the Australian Defence Force was continued to deploy both domestically and in international operations. Right now, you can see a special unit of 70 Australians teaching Ukrainian recruits tactical survival skills in the forest of Great Britain, in freezing days and nights when the temperature dropped to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Of course, Australian Special Forces also train their own army soldiers, passing on to them the world's best advanced combat shooting skills.
Training of their subordinates and their coaching techniques.
The 2nd Commando Regiment's Special Forces are known for their exceptional combat capability. These fighters have participated in many combat operations from East Timor to Iraq and Afghanistan. In addition, the regiment is used as a powerful force against terrorists. For example, during the 2006 Commonwealth Games and during the G20 Summit in 2014. How cool does the work of the Australian Army's Special Airborne Unit look? They provide support and cover for the landing of airborne units, and they are definitely reliable. Over the past few years, Australia has been actively researching new technologies and conducting experiments to improve military equipment. For example, 16 M113AS4 armored personnel carriers have been converted into robotic and autonomous combat vehicles with optional crews. And this is the Boeing AH-64E Apache Guardian, a deadly, reliable, and incredibly durable aircraft. By 2025, Australia will have spent $1 billion to purchase 29 of these aircraft from the US to strengthen reconnaissance forces. Poland. Poland has well-developed special operations forces which are part of the armed forces. These include the 1st Special Commando Regiment, the Grom Thunder Group, and the Maritime Special Forces unit known as Formosa. The task of the Grom Group encompasses special operations, including counter-terrorism, The personnel are divided into so-called operators and support groups, which include analysts, specialists in electronics, computer technologies, explosives, as well as technicians facilitating group coordination. All soldiers are expertly trained and equipped. Additionally, each of them has a double specialty, such as radiotelegrapher, sniper, sapper, chemist, medic, driver. Initially, the Maritime Special Forces Formosa consisted of enlisted soldiers. Today, it has become entirely professional and efficiently carries out its tasks at sea, underwater, or on coastal facilities. Just look at what these guys are capable of. Here is the Polish operational group known as White Eagle during one of the military operations in Afghanistan in 2013. The special group fighters have been seasoned in battles against the Taliban and other insurgents, earning an excellent reputation among their allies. Take a look at how Polish military personnel hone their skills in joint and realistic exercises with the USA. The American hammer pursues Polish soldiers retreating into the woods, but they continue to fire back. And here, the Polish army advances to position on armored vehicles, waits for the enemy to approach, sets an ambush for the Romanian army, and then withdraws. Fortunately, this is also just a training exercise, and the ambush was conducted with the consent of the Romanian side. That's all for today. See you when the next video comes out.